What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy John coming back at you with another video of the day. I've got these ice packs on my legs because my calves are dead. They're just fucked, man. Absolutely fucked. Look, you can have a little look. Look at this shit. It's the most excruciating pain I've ever experienced in my calves. It's unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. Now, it's not bad like when I'm walking on it or doing any kind of like exercise or doing any running or anything. I don't want to run, to be honest, on these casts, but I know I could do it. I mean, I did squats and I did deadlifts today and I did bench, but that's not really a leg exercise. My calves were fine. They were fine during the exercise, but it's afterwards, the recovery phase, where it fucking hurts, bro. It's painful. So right now, I'm just like dreading walking and getting any movement because I know the calves are going to be fired up. And I have to walk like a fucking Zog creature, standing on my tiptoes with my fucking legs at right angles. I'm fucking dolloping all over the place. Fucking, I look hilarious, but anyway, it's gotta be done. So I have made this channel. I made this channel 2 years ago. It's been like two and a half years since I've gotten on this little journey that I'm doing on YouTube, where I'm like talking about my thoughts and expressing myself in such amazing and inventive ways and manners. And the common denominator is me sitting on a couch or my bed in a dressing gown or leisurely clothes, because these are the times when I'm relaxed, where I have the greatest thoughts. So when I'm in the forest, right, if I'm doing anything during the day or weeks, I usually don't have any intuitive or any interesting thoughts to develop, because that's how I develop my thoughts, through words. But without further ado, I've made tons of videos on the flatline. And if you want to gain an understanding of the flatline when I was first experiencing it and how I got through it, you can just go to my early videos. You'll see them. They're very animated in the sense of their titling. It says flatline, flatline, flatline pretty much all the time. But here's another video on the flatline today. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it because I'm going through another one. Okay, and I'm in like 2.5 years now into the journey. 1.5, 2 years. But I've had some relapses along the way, right? I've had some relapses along the way. So that means that the flatline tends to come back when I relapse, okay? And I've only relapsed 3 times, maybe 4 times. Like properly relapse, that means like the full PMO, but mini relapses have happened throughout the way. What are those? Peaking, edging, okay? I don't consider just MO, pardon me, MO by itself, like a conscious release, as a relapse, because it's not really the same. But at the same time, if it's done out of a sense of you're not in control of it, I would consider that a relapse. If you're backed up and you need release, and your life game is on the top, you might be dealing with some women, you might not, I don't care too much about that. It's more about yourself. Do you feel good about yourself right now in the stage of your life? I still wouldn't recommend releasing even then, because you will lose something for a few days. Okay, you will lose your energy, you will lose your vitality for a few days, you will just get mellow. It's not going to be the end of the world, but I just wouldn't recommend even releasing, because it's just going to sap you a little bit. It just doesn't help you. It gives you a release of sexual thoughts and being aroused by the smallest thing, but I'm going to be real with you, brother, that's like what makes you a man. Now, of course, sexual frustration is a big deal. At this stage in my life, I don't think that's a big problem anymore. I can get girls relatively. If I put in the work, I can get girls. So it's not like I'm that upset about being single. But at the same time, I know what being sexually frustrated feels like. So yes, the odd release. I'm not going to be a fucking, what do you call these guys? I'm not going to be a propagandist or a dogmatist, whatever you want to call them, and say you must not ever touch yourself. You're a fucking bloke. You're a human being at the end of the day. Fucking grow up here. A little release here and there, a little tug of the thing ain't gonna kill you, but just make sure it's not pathological, is what I'd say. Again, mainly talking to myself. I'm not talking to you. You can take the advice if you want to, but the flatline. Let me get into the fucking flatline. Fucking hell, that took 4 minutes of talking. We need to warm the brain up, don't we? The flatline is twofold. I've experienced both. I've experienced a physical flatline where it's just nothing works. Dick is gone. You're not aroused by anything. There's no depression per se, but there's just a feeling of deadness. You're just dead. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no vitality, there's no life, there's no energy, there's no passion. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just weird. It's really weird. There's not a depression per se, but it can feel a little bit like a depression. And then there's the other side of the flatline where you feel anxious, you feel paranoid, you feel depressed, along with fucking no dick working right. It's just really weird symptoms. Oh, this fucking TV's pissing me off. Keeps fucking moving. There we go. It's really weird. It's a strange thing, but the flatline can be very dark. A lot of people don't talk about this. The flatline can be very dark, and the worst part about the flatline is that it's psychological. Okay, it's a mental battle, and it's one of the first mental battles that you're gonna have to fight in your life. Okay, if you're like the average consumer, you don't really face much struggle in your life apart from your own mental affinities. This is going to be the first mental struggle you really have to face if you lived a relatively soft life. Yeah, it's. I remember going through night terrors in my first flatline. I'd wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, and I would just be terrified. I would be terrified. Like I would wake up and I would be fucking terrified. I don't of nothing, like just paranoid thoughts going through my head. I never had these kind of thoughts in my life before, ever. All right, but I just felt fucking. My whole body was in a sweat. I couldn't sleep. I was just afraid. The dark looked so menacing. It was a very strange period of my life, man. Granted, the lockdown was a case, and I wasn't really talking to many people, so that may have helped, I guess, in the mental torment that I was going through during that time. But realistically, I'm almost certain it was due to the flatline or withdrawals, at least when it came to the substance. Because you've got to remember, for addicts, and if you're watching this channel, you probably are an addict. That means you've wired your whole neurochemistry to this substance since you were your earliest sexual experiences were with this substance. Yeah, pornography, the big PU, it was your first sexual experience, I'm assuming. So it's going to hold a very memorable tone in your physiology, in your neurochemistry. What we're doing, rewiring our brain so that we can actually find real women attractive and have real fucking relationships with people, is a big deal to our neurochemistry. Our neurochemistry doesn't want to accept it. So what you're doing is you're essentially divorcing a girlfriend that you've had for many years, a wife, if anything. Pornography was your wife. And it sounds really pathetic and sad when I say it like that, but it is the fucking truth at the end of the day. You are divorcing your wife, your virtual brides that you had access to for many years. That is going to have a torment on your psychology. So you must understand that when the flat line comes, it's psychologically very terrifying. Okay, but this period, and it feels like it's never going to end. That's the honest to God truth. You don't know when it's going to end. I honestly didn't know when it was going to end. But realistically, most of them lasted around 10 to 11 days. They didn't last much longer than that. They did not last longer than a month. I know that, but they felt like they did. But I remember timing one, and I remember every day I was waking up, I'm like, am I feeling better? Am I feeling better? Am I feeling better? But I still had shit to do, but I was just taking a little mental note of how do I feel. And just in general, the energy levels. Eating was right. I mean, the flatline forced me to fix my eating habits. No more junk food, no more sugar, no more any kind of bad substance. Any substance I was taking was massively reduced. Alcohol, for example, I completely got rid of that. I completely fixed my diet during the flatline because I just wanted to feel fucking good again. I remember drinking so much water and doing so much exercise because nothing was making me feel good anymore. It was a very terrifying point in my life. I got into nature. I spent as much time as I possibly could in nature because I just wanted to fucking feel good again. I just wanted peace and serenity from my mind because it was just going crazy. I'll probably put a little timestamp so you can get to this point if you want to know the tips on how to get through the flatline. You have to understand that your urge to want to give up on the journey because you don't think it's working, you don't think NoFap is working during the flatline, your urge will be that you want to give up, that you want to go back to PMO, okay? Because you're like, okay, well, this ain't doing anything for me. I feel like shit. Might as well go back, right? Don't do that. Don't do that. The nagging thought of maybe going back might make me feel better. Well, it will make you feel better. Of course, it will. Your dopamine little hit will make you feel normal again because your brain's going to be all fired up and all those old pleasure pathways are going to be activated. But remember, you were a sick human being when you were addicted to that. Yeah, in your normal everyday life, I've experienced this myself very vividly now because I've been clean of of PMO. When I go into normal society, if I'm not using, I feel great. I feel really social. I feel like I can connect and talk to everyone. I'm just really, I'm really social. Like I'm really social as a human being, and I've made so many friends and had amazing relationships with people over the last 2 years because of my sociability. At the same time, when I use, if I even have a mini relapse like an edge or I peak, I notice that when I go back into society, I can't be as social as I usually am. I don't know why. Something happens. I'm a little bit more hesitant. I'm a little bit more shy. I'm a little bit more anxious. I'm a little bit more withdrawn and introverted. And I don't know what that is. I don't know why that's the case. But I've just noticed it and it's a recurring pattern. And I feel really anxious and shameful after using. So I just don't even fucking bother anymore. I don't even bother with a peak anymore. I've done it too many times for me to realize that this is just dreadful. The guilt and the fucking soul crushing feeling afterwards is just absolutely atrocious. The flatline is deceiving because when you're through it, when you're in it, it feels like you're shit, you're worthless. I have so many negative thoughts when I go through a flatline. Um, but when I get out of it, my man, when I'm out of it, oh my God, I feel better than I ever felt before in my life. I feel more energized. I feel more stronger. I feel more powerful than I've ever felt in my life. I take life by the balls and I just feel great. So I know what going through a flatline feels like. I've been through it so many times now. If you're going through a flatline right now, you must be resilient. Use this time every single day to build your resilience, to fight any fucking obstacle that comes your way, any challenge that is in your way in terms of your mental. You need to say, yes, this is the flatline testing me to see whether I'm worthy to be on this journey and to be the man that I want to be. Because to be the man that you want to be is going to take sacrifice, okay? You weren't taught this by your fathers. You weren't taught this by your family. You weren't taught this by your mothers or society. But to be the man that you want to be, the hero, the legend, the king, the warrior, whatever it is that you have in your mind that you want to be, that's going to take sacrifice and hard work and effort. And we were not trained to do that. We were trained to be lazy, to seek out comfort, to just do nothing and expect the world on a fucking silver platter. Yeah, men today they ask, where are the women? Where are the good women at? Why can't I get women? Why? What's wrong? You know, women are this, women are that, incel this, red pill this, black pill that, and I'm like, you're not men. you're not you're not real men. Women will do what they've always done, and they will go for the strongest men out there. Okay, that's not new. That's not new behavior from women. That's very very common and normal behavior. Your granddad, if he was a man, will tell you this, or your great granddad, because your granddad may have been a simp as well, right? Your granddad may have been born as a boomer. So even that's a bit shady, but women will always go for the strongest man. And that is a very vague term. I don't just mean physically, I mean mentally, I mean emotionally, I mean all those things. Strongest man out there. And I don't think most men are that at all. They're not mentally strong, they're not physically strong. If they are physically strong, they're mentally weak. And everything's a show. Everything's a massive show. Everything's ego. But if you just pop someone's ego with a little comment, you watch how they explode. And even those people, the people who are the opposite, the timid ones, I mean, that's the same thing, but just it's hidden, right? It's a hidden form of ego. Men are focused on that. They're like, why don't I get women? Well, what the fuck have you done to be the best version of yourself, brother? What have you done? Like, what have you done to make yourself into the man that you want to be? Women will come to you if you become the man that you're meant to be, because that's what they follow. They follow a leader, and all you need to be is a leader in your own life. All you need to do is take your own life by the balls and do what you need to do in life to be successful in your own terms. It's so fucking simple. What you want to do really deep down is what you need to do. You don't need to follow society's agenda. You don't need to be what society told you. You don't need to be rich or fucking handsome or all this bullshit, okay? Sure, it fucking helps, don't get me wrong, but being rich, I don't know about handsome, but being rich and having status is nothing more than a side effect of you putting in hard fucking work and being successful, right? It's just one big bracket that society says, okay, this is success. But if your idea of success is being your own business owner and moving to another country and having this much money or whatever, or engaging in this hobby or winning this thing, that is enough for you to attract a decent subset of women that are good quality women for you. Okay, and if you don't believe me, I don't really know what to say to you, but all I can tell you from my personal experiences, when I've put in the work to develop myself and be the man I'm meant to be, I've attracted the right and the wrong women. Okay, but I've attracted some right women in my life who I've looked and I'm like, damn, like this is a really good girl. She's a really good girl, man. And I'm like, fuck, the only reason I was able to attract her was because I'm this guy. And I wasn't this guy yesterday, and I wasn't this guy a few weeks ago. I'm this guy today because it's a testament of my work. Okay, so if you want to manifest that man, you have to go through this flat line. You have to be resilient and develop the mental fortitude to go through this pain, go through this little period of discomfort, because it's going to be very uncomfortable and a lot of uncomfortable feelings and thoughts are going to come your way. Don't give in to the relapse, because that just takes you back to the loser you used to be. You don't want to be the loser. You don't want to be that fucking cretin. You want to be the best version of yourself. That's what we're doing at the end of the day. That's what self-improvement's always been about. Manifesting that man you're meant to be. So if you relapse, you are going to be turning back into that man. You don't want to relapse. Okay? And if you give up during the flat line, if you let it get to you, that means all the mental torment that your brain puts you through, the fact that, I mean, I'm going out, bro, and I'm seeing gorgeous girls and I'm not feeling fucking anything. Yeah, it's like there's no testosterone in my body. I'm still lifting weights, I'm still doing my swimming and all my fucking hobbies, but there's no energy like down there whatsoever. It's like a fucking it's completely dead. That's the terrifying thing, that your body's like, oh my god, it doesn't work. I must look at porn. And yeah, when you look at porn, it works all of a sudden, but you've just taken yourself back. What was the point? After this flatline phase, you will be stronger than ever before. Yeah, ever. Like, I'm telling you, I've been there before, and it's an amazing feeling. You'll be more social, you'll be more positive, you'll feel great, your relationships will be fucking amazing. Girls, your woman attraction business will be on fire, because again, women only respond to your energy, women respond to you. When you're past that kind of flatline phase, your energy returns and your positivity returns, your charisma returns, and all of a sudden women are attracted to you again, because you're back. You're back. You are back. The man's back. But during the flat line, there is a temporary phase of just fuck, a bit of a dead streak right now. You're kind of like a shell of your old self, which is certainly what I experienced. But it's a temporary phase, my man. And before any kind of greatness comes your way, you've got to go through the pain. You've got to go through that pain phase, or the pain barrier, as Arnold Schwarzenegger put it. All right. But anyway, look, this is just a little talk from me about the flatline one-to-one with you if you are experiencing or going through it. I just realized my phone was in this fucking posture the entire time. Yeah, man. If you're going for the flatline, fucking I salute it. You've managed this far. You will go through further. You will be more successful if you just stay the fucking course, brother. Stay the course. You will feel greater than ever before. You will feel amazing afterwards. And I'm not lying. I've got nothing to sell you here. I'm not selling any products on this channel. I'm not even making money out of these videos. I'm just making these videos so that I can remind myself as to why I'm on this journey, and to the few of you that are watching these videos, you guys, so I can be this voice of someone who's been through it, who's a guinea pig, who's kind of tested the waters, and I'm giving you my recollections of the experiences that I've gone through. And I'm telling you, brother, when you go through this phase, you're gonna feel fucking amazing afterwards. All right, just stay the course. This is a test, okay? It's the one of the first spiritual tests you're gonna face in your life, and you will win if you just fucking stay the course. All right. Anyway, my man, be successful. Yeah, I believe in you, brother. I'll see you later.